Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the Fun in the Sun deals, what I ended up picking up, and who I ended up ranking up from this week. Now, I will say I have a very limited budget when it comes to MCOC. This is something I've talked about openly before. And so going into these deals for July 4th, I knew that I was not going to be spending any money and that I was just going to be using units on hand. I was able to midweek get to just over 18K units. As you can see, I have 18,001 units, which is pretty hilarious. I'm going to have one unit to my name when it's all done. But I would say that these deals are kind of mid-range, good value for the sort of low spender, non-spender. I wouldn't say this is the most free-to-play friendly event we've ever seen, but it is certainly free-to-play inclusive, which I always appreciate. This is going to help me fix my prestige a little bit for my alliance. And I'm also going to get to rank up an extremely fun champ, like somebody that I'm going to have a ton of fun with and be able to make more content with. So with all that, I do think that it is a decent value. However, to assume that these free-to-play players exist who can grind out 36K units to maximize the deals, it's a little unrealistic. That is a very, 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 very tiny part of the population that are able to pull that off. I've never actually had 36K units to my name before. But having a nice price point at 18K, as well as like the 11K and change that was available for the tier 3 deals, is actually pretty good. So with that, we're going to transition into the video now. I'm going to show you what I bought and why for my 18K units spent, and then we're going to take a look at who I ranked up. So by the time you're watching this, you probably know the structure of how these deals work. Got to make sure that we don't accidentally buy that event quest deal. But here there are 3 tiers plus a 4th tier. And then in the first 3, you can pick various bundles. I'm going for bundle B. The 6-star shards are okay. I'm mostly going for those rank 4 materials. There were some tier 3A and some tier 6B there. Similarly on this one, as tempting as it is to go for C and to get that tier 6 class catalyst selector, I think that those awakening gems are not really needed for me. Whereas the rank 4 gems that come from bundle 2B are going to be a little bit more valuable to me. Now, this really speaks to where my account is compared to my peers. Like, if my peers feel like they are fully sorted on all of their rank 4 champions for Battlegrounds and for Alliance War, I could totally see going for bundle C, because the more tier 6 class catalysts, the better. But for me, getting 2 essentially instant rank 4s is actually going to be really, really valuable for me. Now, finally, on this last deal, we have the choice between getting 3 tier 6 class catalyst selectors or a rank 5 gem, which is also worth 3 tier 6 class catalysts. The thing is, this is very similar to why I picked the last deal. I actually want to have some more rank 4s, and I want to have some like free rank 5 type situation champions. So I did opt for bundle A. The other thing is there are some champions from past eras that I do not have, whereas the 2022 champions are mostly sorted. So I'm actually going to get 2 new champions that I've been chasing for quite a while. And one of them is from 2021 and one of them is from 2019. And ironically, they are both Spider-Verse champions who have great synergies with some of my favorite champions and are just great unto themselves. And that, of course, is Penny Parker. I have not been able to pull her in a really long time. Well, I mean, until today. Just double checking there's not somebody I'm forgetting here, but it's got to be Penny. I've made videos on Penny and I've always wanted her, but just could never get her as a 6-star. So she's going straight to rank 3. And then similarly, all the way back in 2019, I've never picked up Stealth Suit Spider-Man. Again, just triple checking he's the one I want, and he definitely is. He is really good to have, good synergy teams, and just very good in Battlegrounds. I've always enjoyed using him. I had the 5-star for a very long time. And then finally, we are going to pick up this last deal. It is a lot more expensive than it used to be, but it still caps off at 18K units, which I think is a very, very, very good deal. So we are not going to show all the selection. I'm going to kind of go a little bit out of order here. We are going back in time to rank up Spider-Man 2099, as our first rank 5. Now, the reason we went back in time, you can see I have under 18k units, is because I literally needed those 25 units from the level up event in order to get to 18k. That is part of how you grind this game, right? Is like you have to maximize your usage of the events so that you can get the units needed for the deals that you need. So I actually had a science rank 5 ready to go. The only reason I didn't pull the trigger until now was because I wanted to kind of see like what the entire deal situation was going to be. But after I kind of budgeted all my resources and what I was going to be doing, I felt better about still taking a science to rank 5 versus rank 2 7-star or something like that. And I figured I'd be doing this anyway. So again, we're turning back the clock. I'm going with Miguel because I use him in war all the time. He was my first science rank 4. I just have a huge appreciation for this guy. And he's just one of my favorite all-time champions. I think he's very powerful. He was competing with Scorpion. But the other thing is he's already Sig 200 and Scorpion is only Sig 20. I was not really looking forward to dumping 180 stones into into Scorpion to make him relevant prestige-wise. So I'm very, very happy about that. I know I'm going to be using him in Battlegrounds and in Alliance War, and he's just one of my favorite champions. Now, next up, this is the one I was the most excited about. That tier 4 level deal was able to get me my first rank 2. And because I knew that my prestige was going to be solved, I was able to take up an unduped rank 2 7-star. And that, of course, is Elsa Bloodstone, one of my signature champs, probably my favorite champ in the game. I have a 6-star rank 2 Winter Soldier relic for her as well. And I do think that at this power level in the current state of the game as a 7-star rank 2, she actually doesn't really need the awakened ability because it is just damage. And 7-star rank 2s, especially with the stat focus, you know, you can put the stat focus on for like the cruelty so that you get more crit damage anyway. She's just going to have all that great utility that she's always had, and she's just going to be fantastic. Now, this is something I've said in my smaller circles. You can't make a bad champion good by ranking them up, but you can make a good champion even better. And she is a very, very good champion. She is not the best skill. I happen to really like her. I happen to be really fluid with her. But this ranking is going to take her to the next level. You're going to see in an upcoming video I have where I do a rank 2 showcase with her, the power level of that rank 2 is so much higher than anything else in the game that you take a champ who already has utility and decent damage, bring them to that rank, they're going to do so much work for you for now and into the future of the game. I can guarantee it. All right, so now we're already getting a little ahead of ourselves here. We're getting onto our next rank 4/rank 5, and that is Future Ant-Man. And I decided to use the generic resources for this guy because I did not really have any tech options or tech catalysts formed. So I decided that I needed another rank 5 to get my 5th rank 5, somebody that can help with prestige. We already got Spidey 99 up. He is going to be my next one. I thought about it a lot. I actually went back to my own video where I ranked all the tech champions, and I actually had him number 2 besides Nimrod and Ghost, who were sort of like the tied for number 1. And I do really stand by that. He has very interesting power control, very big tankiness. He is an Alliance War attack tactic attacker currently, and he also is just so good 2 ways in Battlegrounds. Now, there are certainly other tech champions that have other utility, whether it is the heal blocking or different types of power control, different types of doing damage. There's just a lot of utility, but when he is Sig 200, he has ability to take some hazard shift nodes. He has the armor ups. He has the glancing, which as a rank 5 is just going to make him so tanky. And you can very, very much play in a play style where they barely ever throw specials. You get those periodic power drains, and you just get this massive, massive red damage. I'm practicing him currently. I'm trying to get better at Future Ant-Man, but he was an obvious choice for me. I think he's going to be a lot of fun for a long time, and he was the one that I decided to use that generic 4/5 on. And with that, like I said, my prestige is more or less solved at this point because I have 5 Sig 200 rank 5 champions of different classes, and it's basically going to put me over 19k prestige, which is sort of where I want it to be at the end of this whole thing. I certainly don't have the iDooms and the Quicksilvers and things like that in terms of who I have for prestige. But I do have some fairly decent options, and they're all SIG 200, which I think is all my alliance would ever ask for me. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. There he is, the man himself, Zane, Ant-Man Future. And now we're going to use all of our tech SIG stones. And also, one of the deals that I picked up had 100 extra generic SIG stones, which I do appreciate. It does save me a little bit of hassle of using the Battleground store in order to get all of these generic ones. We're going to have to claim a few extra, but I am taking him all the way to 200. Again, that's partially for prestige, but I do really like that ability. At SIG 1, he can tank the damage of like Gallon on defense, or, you know, anybody else capped at 10%. You get a nice regen that scales as he goes up, but being able to have those like pseudo immunities and take hazard shift is so valuable. All right, so now we have a couple rank 4s, and I'm going to kind of speed through this part. But essentially, we're starting off with Hood. If you've been following my channel, I've been talking for maybe years, I need to rank 4 Hood. I say it all the time. I have a lot of Hood content on my channel of him being a rank 3. It was finally time. That is one of the reasons I chose 2B for one of those deals, was these free rank 4 gems. Finally did not have an excuse to keep putting this thing off, and we're going to rank 4 Hood. So as we speed through the rest of this, I'm going to talk about my next rank 4. And that one is going to be Kate Bishop. Now, I do have a fondness for this champion. Of course, DLL, one of my best friends in the game, was the designer. I have Absorbing Man at rank 4 as well, so I do want to do this sort of in honor of him and his champ design career, which is starting off with a bang. But also, there's just so much about her that I enjoy. I think she's very good in Battlegrounds. I am going to take her up to a decent SIG level of SIG 60, play around with her a little bit more, and then maybe give her more SIGs, but I do think that's a good starting point for her. One of the reasons I like her so much is it kind of feels a little bit like Elsa Bloodstone with the play style. It also has the perfect release mechanic. I love champions that have not really a gimmick, but have like an alternate play style that you have to kind of manage. And really, that cold snap damage, that Caltrops damage is so good. She has a better tranquilize than Mantis as well. And then there's ways to use her in long form content that can really chip away at a lot of health if you're able to play at a skilled level. I've seen a lot of people use her in Battlegrounds, and she is very steady, very reliable, excellent use of cold snap as well for the evade countering, and they're all passives, right? They're all passives, which I really like. You don't have to worry about debuff shrugging or anything like that. And, you know, she's kind of a science champion killer, but she's also sort of just a generic killer. I've seen her work against a variety of champions like, you know, Korg, and, you know, certainly Scorpion. She's one of the best counters for him when he gets placed on defense, and it goes on and on and on. So I really dig Kate Bishop. I realized I have these 2 random Paragon crystals. I just decided to open them in case we could get a little bit more ISO moving forward, or manage to snag a 7-star champion. But of course, we didn't quite get there. And yeah, we're going to continue to rank up Kate Bishop the rest of the way. And I am going to speed this through so we can get down to our final rank 4. And as you can see, this is another champion that I kind of delayed ranking up, and that is going to be Nimrod. I don't think this guy needs any justification or explanation. I think the reason I waited so long was because he was still able to be a force to be reckoned with in Battlegrounds as a 2-way. He's one of the best 2-way champions for sure. Especially in this meta with extra unstoppable and the special locks and things like that. He can be a pretty annoying defender. And then, you know, he's one of those champs that as soon as you draft, it just means they can't place Sauron, they can't place Domino, they can't place Toad. There are just so many champions that he just absolutely erases. And he was doing that as a rank 3 for me for the longest time, to be honest. But I think it's time, because especially after these deals, there's just going to be so many more 7-stars, so many more rank 5s and rank 2s out in the world, and the rank 3 punching up just isn't going to be able to cut it anymore. So yeah, I do feel really good about this. This is again why I went for that 3 to 4 gem. Being able to do this essentially as an instant rank up without having to think too hard and use my tech resources is kind of a no-brainer for me. There are a few other champions like him, including Gallon, that I would love to eventually get to rank 4 and maybe rank 5, but at least for now, we're getting Nimrod up to where he deserves to be. And with that, that's going to do it for today, guys. So I appreciate you all coming on this journey for me, watching my account grow. I do feel pretty good about where everything ended up today. Certainly, there's always a little bit of fear of missing out when I see other people with these massive openings with tons of rank 2s, tons of rank 5s and everything. But you know what? I also enjoy that I play the game at my own pace. I do think that there is a little bit of beauty in limitation and scarcity in this game, because it allows you to make more meaningful decisions. So by having those 18k units on hand and knowing that I was able to fix my prestige and also get Elsa Bloodstone, my favorite champion, up to rank 2, that's a huge W for my account. And I really think, don't think too hard about what other people are doing. Just focus on what you're doing, what your account looks like, and how you're having fun, and the people that you are socializing with and having a good time with playing this game. And then whatever sense of FOMO, dread, whatever that you have will eventually go away, and you'll realize that you're probably going to catch up anyway because content is coming around the corner. So there it is. That's the account for now. It looks good on our end. I don't think Elsa is in my actual profile, but we got over 19k. We have our first rank 2. Feeling very good about that. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any comments or suggestions for me, or if you have more to add to the discussion about spending or these deals or anything like that, please do leave a comment. I do enjoy the discourse that we have on this channel, as it's always respectful, and I appreciate everyone's opinion. Thanks again for watching. Hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one.